Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Test Code Automate. So this is my 30th video for the Playwright with TypeScript series. In this video, I would be covering that how to debug test using Playwright Test Inspector. So let's start. So debugging a test script is the process of finding and fixing error in the script. So previously we have used Playwright VS Code extension for debugging purpose. But this time we are going to use this Playwright Test Inspector for the debugging. And previously we have also used this Playwright Test Inspector for the recording purpose, and also we have used this pick locator option there. But this time we are mainly focusing on to the debugging part. So to debug all the tests, we need to give this particular command, which is npx playwright test then ---- debug. So it will run all the test scripts file which are present inside the tests folder, okay, of your project. So now let's see the practical example of this particular debugging. And for this video, I'm going to use this website, which is demo.nobcommerce.com. Okay. And here I've already created this test script file. Okay. Where I've put these two tests, where into the first test, I'm just verifying the title of that particular website. And into the second test, I'm validating the login scenario. Okay. Where I would be entering the username here and then the password. And then once I click onto the login button, so here I'm verifying that logout button is appearing or not. And after that, we are clicking onto this logout button. And once we click it, this login button should be displayed again. Okay. So that's what we are doing inside the second test. See, here we are entering the username, password, then clicking onto the login button, validating the logout button, and then we are clicking onto the logout button, and then we are validating the login button, that it is visible or not. So now let me run this particular test script file. Okay, directly I can go to this testing. Okay, here let me refresh it. Okay, and here I'm going to run this particular test script file. So click onto this run button for this test script. And once you run it, so here you would be able to see that the first test will get passed, and into the second test it will get failed because I've purposefully given one failure here. Okay, so see, it got failed. And why it got failed? Because here it is finding two elements related to this particular locator. Okay, so here we have given this get by text as the login. Okay, and it is showing that we are getting an error that is strict mode violation, and this locator resolved to two elements, right? First one is this anchor tag and second one is the button. Okay, so now as we know that we are getting error onto this particular line, and for this time we are going to use the Playwright Inspector tool. So let's see how we can debug it at this particular line. So now go to the terminal. Okay, and here we need to give the command which is npx, okay, and then playwright and then test. Okay, and after this you need to give this flag which is --debug. So what it will do, if you give this --debug, it will execute all the test scripts file which are there inside this tests folder. But for now we just want to execute this particular test script file, which is debugpractice.spec.ts. So if you want to do that, you will have to give the name of that particular file. And where you need to give this, after this npx playwright test, first you need to specify the name of the file. So for our case, it is debugpractice.spec.ts. Okay, and make sure you enter the correct spelling. And then after this, you can give this debug flag. So what this command will do, it will execute this particular test script file, okay, into the debug mode with the Playwright Inspector onto all the browsers which are configured into playwright.config.ts. So for now, into this playwright.config.ts, I have just configured two browsers. First one is Chromium and second one is Firefox. Okay, so onto these two browsers, all the tests will get executed into the debug mode with the Playwright Test Inspector. So now let's hit enter. So once you hit enter, you would be able to see that it is going to run 4 tests. Why 4 tests? Because into this test script file, there are 2 tests which are present, and it is going to run it onto 2 browsers, which are Chromium and Firefox. So that's why it is showing the 4 tests. Okay, and it will take some time, and then it will open the Playwright Inspector tool with the Chromium browser first. Here you are able to see it is working onto the Chromium for now. So see, this Playwright Inspector tool got opened, and here we are able to see the browser also got opened. Okay, let me resize it so that we would be able to see both the things here. So here into this Playwright Test Inspector tool, previously we already saw about this recording options, these assertions that how we can put how we can use the pick locator tool into my previous video. If you have not watched those videos, I would provide the link of those videos into the description, or you can click onto the I button at top right corner to access those videos. So for now, we are going to focus onto the debugging part. So here, if you will see, we are able to see these three buttons. First one is the resume, second one is the pause, and third one is the step over. Okay, and these three buttons we are going to use. So here into the browser, if you will see, it is just showing the blank page. Why so? Because as soon as we have given the command, so it has opened that test script inside this Playwright Inspector, and now it has paused onto the first line of first test. Okay, which is line number 5 in our case. Okay, and in this case, we have two options. Either we can click onto this resume button, or we can press the F8 also to resume. So it will execute all the lines which are present inside your test. So let's click onto this resume button for now. And for the next test, we would be clicking onto the step over button, which will execute each line one by one when we click onto the step over. Okay, so for now, let's click onto the resume button. And as soon as you click onto the resume button, it will execute your first test, which is present here. And then it will close the browser with the Playwright Inspector tool. And for the second test, again, it will open this Playwright Inspector tool with a blank browser, right? And here also, it is opening the blank page. And this time we are going to use the step over option to go to the each line one by one, right? So now let's click onto this. So see, now it will come to this line number 12. It has not went to the line number 11 because here we are not performing any action onto line number 11. We are just taking the value of URL into one variable. Okay. So now at the line number 12, what it is doing, it is entering the email ID value into this email ID text box. Okay. And here, if you will see into the browser, so automatically this email field is getting highlighted because we are here at line number 12 into the Playwright Inspector. Okay. So onto this email ID field, it is going to enter this email ID value, which is testcodeautomate@gmail.com. So now if I click onto this step over, it will go to the next line. Here into the browser also, it has started highlighting this next locator, which is password field. And here it is going to fill the password. So now if I step over, it will come to this particular line where we are going to click onto the login button. So let me click here. And as soon as I clicked there, so same thing again happened, right? We got the error and it closed the browser. Why so? Because again, we would be able to see that same error that it violated that strict mode violation, right? It is able to find two elements, right? So first one is this anchor tag and second one is this button. Okay. So let me again give that particular command, and this time we would be correcting the script. Okay. So here just press Ctrl C 2 times to terminate this batch of for the previous test. Okay. So here it was serving this HTML report. So that's why the terminal was not free. Okay. Let me close this HTML report also. So now let's again give that particular command. And this time, as we know that our script will get failed, so we will try to correct the script, okay, while debugging. So see, browser got opened. Okay, so for now, first test is getting executed. So let's resume it. Okay, and for the second test, we would be going to that particular point. Okay, so now for the second test, browser and Playwright Inspector got opened. So now let's tap over till line number 12. Okay. So here it is going to enter the username, and at line number 13, now it is going to enter the password. But as we know that we are going to get failure. So if we will again step over, it will close this Playwright Inspector tool. Okay. So here we will try to correct our mistake, right? Which we have done into our test script file. So for that, what we can do, we need to detect this login button, right? So previously we saw that Playwright is able to resolve two elements using this get by text login locator, right? So for this time, let's again detect this login button. So for this, we are going to use this pick locator. Okay. And once you click onto the pick locator, and then you can click onto the specific element which you want to detect. So here I will click onto this login button. Okay. And as soon as you click onto this login button, after clicking onto this pick locator, you would be able to see that locator is getting generated here inside the locator tab. Okay. So this is the locator which we are going to use this time. Okay. So copy it from here and go to your test script file into the VS Code. And here we are going to replace this old locator which just got generated using this Playwright Inspector tool pick locator. So now if we will run our test script file again, so our whole should get passed, right? So now let's again run it into the debug mode only. Okay, let me press Ctrl C 2 times. So it will close the old session of this Playwright Inspector and the Chrome browser. Okay, and if I again hit this particular command, so it will execute your whole test script file. But here I will also show you one option where we are going to execute only this particular test. So to do that, what we need to do, we need to give the line number at which your test is present. Okay, so there are two tests which are present. First one is present at line number 4, right? So from this line number 4, this test is getting started, right? And the second test is getting started from line number 9. So that's what we need to mention, that we just want to debug this particular test. So to do that, what you need to do, you need to give the same command npx playwright test and the file name, right, which you want to execute. And after the file name, what you need to give, the colon, okay, and then this line number, which is line number 9 in our case. And then after a space, you need to give the hyphen debug. So only this difference is there, right? Colon and the line number after the test script file. So let me hit enter. So once I hit enter, what it will do, it will start the debugging only this particular test script file and also this particular test only, which is present at line number 9. So see here, this time it has paused for this particular test only, right? So it has opened the blank browser, and if I step over through the each point, so it will do that action one by one. So see here, now it is going to enter the email ID, then the password. And as this time we have corrected this particular locator, so here this particular step should get passed and it should be able to click onto the login button. So see, as we are at line number 14, so it is highlighting this particular line, right? So it is showing this red dot that it is going to click onto this particular element. Okay, and also it is showing that locator. And one more thing, here with this Playwright Inspector tool, if you will debug, we would be able to see these logs, right, which will get generated. So see, here we have opened this link, right, using this page.goto command at line number 10. And then we filled the email ID value. So see here, if we will expand this particular part, so it will show that what are all the actions which it is doing behind the scenes, right, for entering this particular value inside this locator. So see here, it is waiting for that locator, which is this email ID locator. Okay, and then it is resolving to the particular element, which is input element, right? See, this is the HTML element to which it is resolving. Okay, and then it is filling the value. So that's what all the logs you would be able to see for your script. Okay, see, for the password field also the same thing is there, and then it is clicking onto the button. So till this point it has generated the logs. Okay, and now again if you will click onto the step over, so see, it will again generate the logs for the next lines. And here with these logs you would also be able to see this timing, that how much time that particular step is taking. Okay, so now let me click onto the resume button, as we know that we have corrected our test script and it should get passed. Okay, and once I click onto the resume button, so see, the execution will get completed. So the execution got completed for the Chrome browser. Okay, and again now it is going to start this Playwright Inspector tool with the browser for the Firefox browser. So let me resume it again also, so it will complete the execution for the Firefox. Okay, so for now we have not specified that on which browser I want to debug, so that's why it has opened it onto both the browser. But if you just want to execute only onto the specific browser, so in that case you can mention it with your command. And how you can do that, so till here we have used this particular command, right, npx playwright test, and then if you have any specific test script file you can give the name of it, otherwise it will take all the test script file. And then you can give this hyphen debug flag, and after that what you can do, you can mention the browser. And to mention the browser, what you need to do, you need to give hyphen project and then equals to, and here you need to mention the browser name on which you want to execute it. So this time just run it onto the Firefox. So here we can mention the name of that browser. Okay, so this name should match with this name of this particular Firefox project. And if you hit enter, so it will start that Playwright Inspector tool with the browser only onto the Firefox browser, right? So see, it is running this test script file, both the tests, because we have not mentioned the specific test using this line number, right, colon line number. So that's why it is executing both the tests into the Firefox only. So see here you would be able to see Firefox browser. And for now, let's close it. So you can press Ctrl C 2 times just to close the current execution. So when we were debugging using this Playwright VS Code extension, there was the option to use this breakpoint, right? So using this, we were able to stop at the particular line, because if your test script would be so long, so there is no point of doing that step over for each and every line, right? We just want to go to the specific lines on which we want to do analysis. So in that case, what you will have to do into the Playwright Inspector. So for that, what you need to do, as we are not using this Playwright VS Code extension, we would not be able to give the breakpoint. So for that, what you'll have to do, you will have to use this page.pause. Okay. So that's what we need to give before the line where we want to pause our execution. Okay. So let's pause it after entering the email ID. Okay. And before giving the password, we want to pause our execution. So for that, what you need to do, you need to give this await page.pause method you need to give. So once you run it into the debug mode, so your execution will get started and then it will get paused at this point at line number 13. We have given that. So now let me execute the test. Okay. This time I will just execute the second test only, which is at line number 9. So :9 I have given with the same command, and only we are going to run it onto the Firefox browser. So once you hit enter, so you will be able to see this, the Playwright Inspector and the Firefox browser will get opened. So see, this Playwright Inspector got opened, and this time it has opened the blank browser. Why? Because we have just started it into the debug mode. This time if I will click onto this resume button from here, so it will not execute the whole test script file. It will get paused at this particular line, which is at line number 13, before entering the password. So let me click onto this resume button. So see, it has entered the email ID, but then it got paused at this line number 30. And if I step over after this, so again it will proceed further with the next lines. And here if you click onto the resume, so after this, as we have not given any page.pause, so it will execute the complete test. Okay, so multiple page.pause methods you can insert here to stop it onto the multiple points. So previously, when we were using this VS Code extension for the debugging purpose, there was one benefit. Let me show it to you. Here, if I put the debug point at any particular line, and if I run this particular test into the debug mode, so here the execution will get paused at this particular point, and then there I will show you what was the one benefit which was here, which is not there into the Playwright Inspector. So see, now the execution has paused. So if you click onto the different lines into the code which are having the locator, and if you will go to the browser, so see that a specific element is getting highlighted. So now let's click onto this login button locator, right? And if you go to the browser, so see that particular element is getting highlighted here. But if you use this Playwright Inspector, so in that case, you would be able to only highlight the element of the particular line on which we are there, right? If we are paused onto line number 14, that particular element only you would be able to highlight. But here we are able to highlight all the elements. It may be the past element on which it has already clicked, or it can also be the future elements on which it is going to perform the action. So see, we are currently at line number 14, but if we will click onto the line number 12, where we entered the email ID, so it will highlight that particular element also. So this is one benefit of using the Playwright VS Code extension. And one more drawback which I see is that if we use this Playwright Inspector, so for each test, what it is going to do, it is going to open the browser. That is okay. But with the browser, every time it will open and close the Playwright Inspector for each test. So that is also a little time consuming, but into this VS Code, that issue is not there, right? Because we are directly using this Playwright VS Code extension. So it will always be open for us. Okay. Only the browser will get open and close. And one more thing I would like to add. So for now, we have just executed this plain script into the debug mode using this Playwright Inspector. But now if I execute this script where we are using the page object model, so let me copy this particular name which we want to execute. And here I need to give the same command, which is npx playwright then test. and that particular file name, and then --debug. And for now, let's run it for all the browsers which are configured. And once I hit enter, so here it will open the same Playwright Inspector tool with the browser. But I just want to show you one more thing here into this Playwright Inspector. So see, as it is opening this particular test script file which we have executed, right? This one, verification of cart. So here it will also open the pages where we are navigating, right? So for now, into this page object model, we are using this login page. Then we have created one page for the home page. There is this cart page also there. So you would be able to see those page files here. So for now, only this login page is appearing. So see here, we are only onto this login page.ts. So that's why it is appearing here into this drop down, and we are able to see the code related to this login page.ts. If I step over again, so it will execute related methods related to this page, right? So it executed this method, open application, and this login method also it executed. And then it came onto this main file, right? Test script file. So that code we are able to see here, and here into the drop down also you would be able to see these two files name which we have used, right? So for now we are on to this line number 11 where it is going to use this home page, right? So if I step over again, so see now this time it is showing that home page.ts here, and into the drop down also you would be able to see that page. If you want to see the code of other files, so you can select it from the drop down, right? And once you will come at this particular line where we are using this cart page, so it will also start showing this cart page here into this Playwright Inspector, and from this drop down you can select it. So yeah, that was one more point which I wanted to add. Let me terminate the execution. So yeah, that's it for this particular video. Let me give you the quick recap. So here we saw that we can use this particular command, which is npx playwright test --debug. Okay, and with this we have also seen some commands. If we want to execute the specific test script file, you can give this name after this npx playwright test. Then you can give the test script file name, and then --debug. If you want to run a specific test from the specific file, so in that case you need to give this colon and the line number from where your test is starting. So npx playwright test, then file name colon, and then line number, and after that --debug. And if you want to execute it onto the specific browser, so in that case you can give this -- project equals to that Chromium or Firefox or WebKit, any browser which you want to use. And into the Playwright Inspector tool, we saw that there are this continue and step over option which are there. So using this, we can go to the specific line. Okay, these two options are there, and also we can see the log which is getting generated. So as soon as we move to the different lines, it will generate the logs related to that particular code. We can also use this pick locator option to get the locator. And if you will execute the test script file where you are using the page object model, so it will also start showing the each page which we are going to use. Okay, and into the drop down that page will also appear, so you can select it if you want to look for the code related to the specific page file. So yeah, that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Playwright tutorial playlist, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.